Hello and welcome. You are now looking at the website for Microsoft Office. Microsoft Office has a desktop application as well as application, and it's part of the Microsoft Office 365 suite of applications. Therefore, the application does not have a standalone platform for an individual to purchase. To purchase it would mean that you would be purchasing the Microsoft Office 365 platform. Now, both the mobile and online platform is free to use. If you go to the link that says try for free, using it for home or business, you'll be able to use Microsoft Office online as part of your method for keeping your contacts and communications organized. Now, the free version is tied to the overall storage plan that you have along with Microsoft OneDrive, and there are 15 gigabytes total. So in this course, we'll focus on the setup and management of your email box, as well as your calendar, as well as your contacts. You'll also notice that you have tasks available to you, which is powered by the standalone program called Microsoft To Do. And because the Microsoft company purchased the productivity platform Wunderlist, you can also import those tasks into your Microsoft Office. Now, there are some differences between the cloud-based application and the desktop application, and we'll explore some of those differences in this course. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, it's possible that you don't have a Microsoft Outlook account. What we're going to do is we're going to log out of this account. We're going to start a new account with our existing email. So you'll want to go to your search engine and you'll want to type in the term Microsoft Outlook and free. What you'll then want to do is you'll then want to click on any link that says Microsoft Outlook free personal email. What you're then going to do is you're going to click on the link that says no account. You're then going to write in the email that you want to use. Now, you have a choice between using Outlook.com and Hotmail.com. We're going to choose to use Outlook.com. We're now going to click Next. Once you have your account, you're then going to click Next. You're then going to choose a password of your using. You're then going to click Next. You'll then write in the name that you want to use. You're then going to click Next. You'll then write in your demographic information and then click Next. You'll then be asked to fill in a CAPTCHA. Outlook will then prepare your account, and your free account will then be ready for use. Welcome back. Now, once you have set up your free account, you're going to want to be aware of the interface. In the top left-hand corner, you're going to see a menu. And when you click that area, you're going to have access to other cloud-based services of Microsoft Office. So for example, if we click on Microsoft Word, you'll have access to Microsoft Word in the cloud. If you click on a document, you'll be able to work with that document as you would with Microsoft Word. And currently, no payment is required to use this document. The document will be auto-saved to your OneDrive and will count towards your 15 gigabytes. And the same is going to be true for the other applications, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Sway, so that you'll be able to use these applications along with your Outlook information. That means then when you are sending a message within Outlook, what you're going to want to do is go to the Attach area. You're then going to want to browse your cloud locations. If you then go inside of your Documents area, you're going to see your document. You'll see the document that we just created in Microsoft Word. We can attach that document and we can send it as a OneDrive link, or we can attach it as a copy. Now, if you go down one level in the interface, you'll be able to toggle the left-hand pane. So if we click this toggle, you'll see our left-hand pane go away. If we click it again, we'll be able to bring back this left-hand pane. What you'll see going down the left-hand side are the folders inside of your Microsoft Outlook email box. You can then switch over to your Microsoft Calendar. You still have your left-hand pane, which you can collapse. You'll also have your contacts, and you can collapse this area and bring it back. Now across the top, you're also going to see access to your Skype account. So if you click this button, you're automatically going to be logged into Skype. You'll be using the email address that you have for your Outlook account. What you'll also see is your settings area. This will give you access to quick settings that you can change. If you click View All Outlook Settings, you're going to see the expanded list of settings that we'll be working with inside of this course. And the other two icons are going to be help icons. You're going to have help notifications. This light bulb appears when you are working with the various elements that you have available to you inside of Microsoft Outlook. And finally, if you click the last link over, you're going to see an icon. You'll be able to edit your profile, and you'll be able to tie it to all of your other activity. You can view the details of your account here, and this is where you'll track all of the details associated with the email address that you've used in order to sign into Microsoft. And you've now seen the elements of the interface of Microsoft Online. Okay, so with that, welcome back. In this video, we're now going to go into our Skype icon, and we're going to make a connection with an existing individual. So in order to open Skype from within your Outlook, you're going to go to the icon. What you're then going to do is you're going to click View Chat. What you're then going to do is you're going to search for a specific individual. Now in this case, you are going to need to have their email address. And once you find the individual, you're then going to click on their Skype address. And once you do that, you'll then click Create. You'll then write in your message. And when you type in your conversation with the individual, that individual will be able to respond inside of their Skype area. You will then have the option of blocking this contact or deleting the conversation. Now, adding the individual in Skype does not add the individual to your email contacts, nor does it add them to your standard contacts in the contact area. So your contacts between these two applications will be separate and distinct. Okay, welcome back. What we're now going to do is to go into our settings area to work with some of the major settings. What you're now going to see on the right side panel is you're going to see some of the major settings. Now, one thing that you don't want to overlook will be searching your major Outlook settings here in the search box. And so if you start to type in a string, for example, if we just type in one letter, we'll be able to find all the settings associated with the letter that we've typed in. Now you can control the appearance of your Outlook interface, and you can do that by changing the theme. You have more themes available to you here in this area. All you'll need to do is to click on the theme that you want to appear, and you're going to see the appearance of your Outlook change. What you can also do, if you scroll down past the themes, is you can control the dark and light mode. And you can do that by toggling this switch. You're going to see then that your Outlook inbox will appear dark. Now, one thing you're going to notice here is that you have what's called focused inbox, and you have this setting enabled. What this does is Microsoft attempts to use its AI in order to determine which emails are essential and which ones are not. And so if you click in this other box, what you're going to see is you have ads that you're being served, in addition to emails that are considered to either be advertisements or non-essential. If you have an email that you feel is going to be one that should be in your focus box, all you'll need to do is to click on that email and drag it into your focused box. If you go back to your focus tab, you're going to see that email. You can choose to have desktop notifications. Now this is not essential and it's off by default. So it's something that you'll want to test to determine if it's something that you need or if it's something that will distract you. You can also display your messages in different modes. You can use a medium density or a compact density. or you can go back to the default, which is full density. You can determine which messages you're going to see first. You can have the newest messages appear first, or you can have the newest messages appear on the bottom so that you can delete the older messages before you get to the new messages. Or what you can do is you can turn off conversation view altogether. You'll also notice that you have a reading pane on the right side by default. That means that if we click on top of the email without opening that email, what's going to happen is that we have access to the content without opening the email and without triggering any tracking. You can have that same reading pane appear on the bottom. You can have that reading pane hidden altogether. And those are your basic settings for the quick setting area of Microsoft Outlook. Welcome back. Now Outlook has additional settings, and if you go to the gear, you're going to come down to the bottom and click on View All Outlook Settings. And the first setting you're going to see is going to be the layout. And again, you're going to have the opportunity to make sure that your focused inbox sorts your messages. You can choose so that it doesn't sort messages at all here in this menu again. You can choose the height of the message when it appears in your email box. The default is the full. Again, you can change it to compact. You can organize your messages by conversation, or you can organize your messages by individual messages. But one thing you'll notice inside of Outlook is that you can choose whether to show a sender's image, which will include their initials if a photo is not available. What you can do here is you can choose not to have sender images at all. You can also choose again where your reading pane is going to be. You can choose what's going to happen when you delete an email. So for example, what you can do is you can then open the previous item or open the next item. You can choose what's going to happen when you initially sign in to Microsoft Outlook. You can also choose your message list format as well as your text preview. And the rest of the layout will include inline previews and date headers. Once you've changed what you want to change, you can click Save. You can then go to your Compose and Reply settings. Now one thing you can do is you can create a signature that will automatically be added to all of your emails. And you can use the WYSIWYG editor along with it. So if you want to include an image in your signature, if you want to make your signature different colors, if you want to align it, you can do that. So basically you're going to create your signature. And if you want this automatically included on all of your emails, you can click this dialog box. If you want them included on messages you forward or reply to, you can then click this checkbox. In terms of formatting, you can show the blind copies as well as the from area. You can choose whether the default will always be reply or reply to all. Now Outlook typically reveals a preview link inside of the email. And you can choose so that when the link is presented, you do not show the preview link. Or you can choose to have it inside of this area. What you can see here is that when an email is going to be composed, you're going to see the link preview if you choose that option. So if you want to turn this option off, you'll need to untick this button. Now currently, you have by default an undo send setting. And messages can be canceled up to 10 seconds. So what you can do is you can choose how long Outlook will wait before it sends the actual message. If we move this lever to 10, that means that we have 10 seconds. Now once you're ready to send your email, you're going to click send. You're going to see down at the bottom you have an undo command. You can click undo in order not to send the email. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to stop the video here. We're going to pick it up by reviewing more of the settings area. Okay, so with that, welcome back. Now we are working inside of our settings area, and we can choose how our attachments will behave in our email. If we always want to be asked by Outlook how we want to share our attachments, we can be prompted. If we always want to share them as OneDrive links, we can do that. Of course, they'll automatically be stored then in OneDrive. We can always share them as copies. So we really have two choices, and we can decide then if we want to be asked each time how we want them to be shared. And we have those same choices inside of group files that we participate in. We can also do is we can add in use of storage with our Outlook account. If you have a box.com account, you can add that account to your Microsoft Outlook in order to store files. If you have a Dropbox account, you can do the same thing. If you have a OneDrive account, you can also add that account to your Microsoft Office account. Now let's assume that we want to add a Dropbox account. You're going to be asked to sign into your Dropbox account. What you're then going to do is to allow Outlook to access your Dropbox. Your Dropbox will then be part of your account. You can also connect your Facebook account. So for example, I'm going to click Facebook. Assuming you are already logged into your Facebook account, you'll then have this dialog box. You'll then click Continue, and your Facebook account will then be connected. You may also want to connect your Google Drive account. Once you sign in, you'll need to give Microsoft access to your Google Drive account. And your Google Drive will then be part of your Microsoft Office in terms of storage and your attachments. Welcome back. Now, as you begin to get junk email inside of your mailbox, you can block certain senders and domains. For example, when you come inside of your junk email section, what you'll need to do to block a sender is you'll go to the address, and all you'll need to do is to write in that address. That individual will then be added to your blocked senders. They will not be able to get email through to you. However, if you find that this email is one you're going to want to receive from, you can delete that address. What you can also do is add entire domains. So for example, you can write in a domain, hit enter. That domain will then be one of your blocked domains. And of course, again, if you find that you have emails that you want to receive from within this domain, all you'll need to do is then go to the list and then delete it. Now, one of the processes you're going to go through is you're going to want to determine certain senders as safe, and you want their email to always come into your email box. And of course, all you'll need to do is to add their email address just as you did with the junk email. And you can do the same thing with a domain. Now, you're going to want to do the same thing with mailing lists. You can go through the same process with their email address as well as their domain. Now, one of the things you can do with your Outlook email address is that you can receive email into your Outlook box from other email addresses. And to do that, if the email is a Gmail account, all you'll need to do is to add that connected account by clicking this button. What you're then going to do is you're going to write in the display name. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to have the email displayed correctly when you're sending and receiving from within your Outlook account, whether it matches your email or not. Now, if you want the email to come into your box and be associated with other email, you're going to import that email into your existing folders. However, if you want the email to be treated separately, so you'll need to operate outside of your everyday inbox, you'll need to create a separate section, and you're going to click this button. What we're now going to do is click OK. Now what we're going to need to do is to log into that email account that we want imported into our Outlook account. Then going to click Next. You're then going to want to write in the password for that email address. You're then going to click Next. You're then going to want to give permission to Microsoft to access your Google account. And what will then start to happen is that your email will then be imported into your email box. Now, you can connect up to 20 different email accounts so that you can basically answer all of your email in one area inside of your Outlook account. So again, you've just seen that we added in a Gmail account. What you can also do is add in an email account where you are hosting the email yourself. Okay, welcome back. You can determine how Outlook handles the emails that come into your box. For example, one thing that you can do that's not ticked by default is you can empty your deleted items folder. Now, if you tend to go back into your deleted items folder, you may want to leave this unticked, which is again the default setting. You have settings for how you're going to determine which emails are going to be marked as read. Now, you also have a specific setting for how your emails are marked as read. For example, one thing you can do is you can determine that don't automatically mark emails as read. This will mean then that you are the one that determines which emails are marked as read, so if you need to come back to something, you can come back to it and you'll be able to see it automatically. You can also control how read receipts are handled. An individual can request a receipt from Outlook that will tell that sender that you've read their email. Now you can say that you want to be asked before sending a response. You can say that Outlook should never send a response, or you can always send a response. And again, this is going to be something that you'll do by preference. The default setting is to ask before sending. The same is true for translating messages. You can be asked before translating, and that's the default setting, or you can never translate. And you can also add in and determine which languages you never want translated inside your email. Now, lastly, you can handle all of your subscriptions inside of this subscriptions link. And so if you want to unsubscribe from a particular email, all you'll need to do here is click the unsubscribe button to that individual subscription. And what you do is just click the unsubscribe button. You'll then be unsubscribed from that subscription. Okay, welcome back. And whenever you have incoming email, you'll see here that the email remains unread until we designate it. If we double click this email, that email will then be considered open, and then when we close it, you'll see that it will be read. Again, this is going to be determined how your settings are configured. So if we go back into our settings and we go back to view all Outlook settings, and we then go back to message handling, what you'll see here is we have marked displayed items as read when the selection changes. So that even though we open this email, when we change the selection, then that email is then marked as read. Now, one thing we can do when an email comes in is we can highlight that email. We can then right-click that email, and we're going to have choices. We can have the choice of replying and writing a new email. We can delete, archive, or move the email. And we can even mark this email as unread. So basically what you want to do is you want to manage your email by using the right-click when you're working with individual emails. We can also use the folders on our left side menu. So for example, if we decide that we're going to create a folder, then we can come to this area, click New Folder. We can write in our folder name. We can then click outside of the box. Then our new folder name is then available. Then what we can do is we can drag and drop the email to the folder. And then that folder will no longer be inside of our inbox. We can take the email, we can decide to delete the email, and then if we decide we want the email back, we can go to our deleted items, we can then right-click that email, and we can restore the email. That email will be back within our inbox. We can choose to archive the email instead of deleting it. Now, if we archive the email, that email will still count towards your storage and your spacing. So if we click Archive, you're going to see that message disappear. Our archive is available on our left side menu. If we click it, then all of the emails that we've archived are within that archive. If we want to restore that email, we can then move that email back to our inbox. Outlook also allows you to categorize email. So for example, we can categorize this email in association with a particular email address, or we can categorize it inside of one of these pre-made categories that are color-coded. Now what you can do is you can go to this area that says Manage Categories. And what you can do is you can create your own custom categories, and then that category will then be available. What you can do then is click on top of the color, and you can choose a color for that email. What you can then do is go back to your right click, you can go back to your categorization, you then have your new category, and then what you're going to see is that you're going to see your category here visible in this area. What you can also do is to flag a particular email. So when we flag an email, what's going to happen is that email and that flag is going to be visible whenever we open up our email box. And you'll see here every time that we add the flag makes the email visible. We can unflag the message just by clicking on top of the flag, and then the flag goes away. We can take an individual email and pin it to the top of our email box. So for example, what we can do here is we can then right click the email, we can click pin. That email will then appear at the top of our box regardless of when the date is or regardless of how we have our email box arranged. We can also remove that pin by clicking on top of it. And we can also control how the email is categorized. If we want to mark it as junk email, we can choose to ignore the sender in the future. We can also choose to block the sender from our right click menu. Now, one of the things that you're going to see inside of your right click menu is the ability to create a rule, and we will cover that in the next video. Welcome back. Now, one of the ways to manage the email coming into your box is to set up rules, and rules will dictate how Outlook will handle the email as it comes in so that you can focus on the ones you want to focus on when you want to take that focus. And so what you would do here is you would right click the individual email. If that's an email that is from a sender that you're going to be getting more than once and you want to dictate how that's going to be handled, you're going to click Create Rule. And what you're going to see in the rule area is that you can determine that messages from the sender will be sent to a certain folder. But you're also going to see more options, and this is going to take you to the rules section. That's going to bring you back into your settings where you can do more complex rules. Now, one thing that you want to do when you are setting up a rule is you want to give the rule a name that will be easy to recognize and memorable. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to add a condition to the rule based on who the email is going to be from. Now, what you can do here is once you have an email from an individual, you can set up that rule with another condition. Now, that's not the only rule that you can set up, is you can also use qualifiers, like if the subject includes something, if there are keywords in the body, if it is marked with a particular level of importance, if it includes a flag. And so what you want to do is to familiarize yourself with the conditions, because what this means is that once you determine what kind of emails that you want to have categorized, you can manage them as you see fit. And then based on those conditions, you can add an action. You can move, copy, delete, or pin the email to the top. You can choose to mark the email as read or even with importance. Now, your actions are going to be fewer in number. However, these are the things that you are most likely to do when you are managing your email manually. And each action is going to have sub-actions. So if you want to individualize an email in a specific case, you can do that by adding in another action. You can also add in an exception. You can select an exception based on the conditions. And once you've added the rule, you can then run the rule that you just created, and then you'll see the action take place that you want to happen. Now what you can do is you can come back and edit this rule at any time, and you can stop processing the rule if it's not working the way you want. Now one more note, you are going to see that you have this condition checkmarked by default. And basically what it does is it stops running any of the other rules if they apply to this particular email. What this does is it limits the number of ways in which there can be conflict between rules. And again, this is going to be enabled by default. You can then click Save. And you'll see the rule in your Rules section. Welcome back. Now, if you go on to purchase Office 365, you will have use of the Outlook desktop application. If that's the case, what you'll want to do is to sync your Outlook desktop application with the Outlook.com application. So what you're going to do is go to your desktop. You're then going to open up the application. Once you have it open, you'll then click Connect. What you'll then need to do is to open up with your password. You'll then click Sign In. You're then going to get a dialog box from Outlook. You'll then click OK. Once you have it, you'll then click Done. Now it's at that point you can have your Outlook application set up on your mobile device. What you'll do is you'll send the link to your mobile messages, and then you'll click on that link in order to set up the Outlook application. And by the time you see this process, you're going to see the Outlook desktop application open on your screen. And you'll see all the elements of your online account synced to your desktop. For example, if we were to go to the rules, we'll click on Manage Rules, you'll see the rule that we created inside of the online portal. You'll also see those emails that we have sent previously. You'll see the folder that we created, as well as the other two email addresses. Now it's within the online portal that you can delegate access, you can set up your account name and sync settings, and download your entire address book. Welcome back. Now one of the things you can do is you can have Outlook on your mobile device. And to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to either use the interface from Microsoft and send the link to your text messages. You'll then have the link sent to you. What you're then going to do is click on the link. What you'll then need to do is to download the application and then open it on your mobile device. What you'll then need to do is to add your account to your mobile device. And you'll start with your Outlook email address. You'll then click Add Account. What you'll then do is to write in your password. You'll then be asked if you want to add in a second Outlook account. You can choose maybe later. And then you can skip the advertisements, and you will then have access to your Outlook account on your mobile device. If you want to work with the settings, all you'll do is to go to the settings link. You'll have access to your settings. To work with the items on the left side menu, you'll click on Inbox and you'll have access to all of your content on the left side menu. Welcome back. Now in order to send a message, what you're going to do is to come to the top left hand corner. You're going to click on New Message. What you're then going to do is you're going to write in the name that you're going to be sending to. By clicking on top of the From, you're going to have access to all of the email addresses that are part of your Outlook account. So if you want to send from one of those other email addresses, all you'll need to do is to highlight that email here. You will have access to the WYSIWYG editor, as you can see from the bottom, allowing you to manipulate the text. When you get ready to attach something, what you're going to do is you're going to go to this area and go to the drop-down menu. What you'll then see is you can either browse the documents on your computer to send, or you can browse your cloud locations. What you'll see here are the files that you already have as part of your OneDrive account. If you've connected your Dropbox, you will have access to your Dropbox files. If you are connected to Facebook, you will have access to your photos. If you've connected your Google Drive, you'll have access to your Google Drive. For example, if we were to click on Google Drive, you'll see the files you have from within your folder. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to add in the file. You're then going to click Next. And then you're going to choose whether you're going to attach the link. Now in this case, we're attaching a Google Drive file, which can't be attached as a copy, can only be attached as a link. We're going to include the link as part of our email. And once your content is ready, you can then click Send. Welcome back. Now Outlook also allows you to manage your calendar. And so what you can do here is you can click on this element. This will give you access to your calendar. And basically what you can do here is you can keep track of appointments as well as events where you want to have others involved. And basically what you do is you start by clicking on a new event. You can add in a title for your event. And we can then open up the advanced options. If we want to invite another individual to this event, what we can do here is we can write in the individual that we want to be part of the event. Outlook also allows us to integrate a Skype meeting. So for example, what we can do is we can tick this box that enables this meeting to become a Skype meeting. Once we have completed the information for the event, we can then click Send. Our event then is created not only in our calendar, but it's also created in our right side reading pane for our calendar. We can share this calendar with others. We can do here is we can click Share. We can then invite other people to the calendar. We can then determine what access the individual can have. We can allow that individual to edit or just view all the details. We can then click Share. And now we have at least one individual that has access to edit our calendar. Welcome back. Now Outlook will also allow you to manage your contacts across platforms, calendars, mobile, and email. And to do that, you're going to go to this area that says People. And what you're going to see once you get to this area is you're going to have those individuals that you have manually added as contacts. But what you can do is you can import your contacts as well as add your contacts. If you're going to import your contacts, you're going to click this link. And basically what you'll be doing here is you will be uploading a CSV file. So for example, if you have contacts in Gmail, what you'll need to do is to create a CSV file in order to upload them to Outlook. In order to manually add a contact, you're going to click Add Contact. What you're going to do is you're going to write in the individual's name, their email address, and any other pertinent information. Once you do that, you'll then click Create. You'll then have access to this individual inside of your Outlook. You can also add in individuals that are part of the Microsoft network. If we click New Contact, we can then create a contact with this individual. Now what you'll notice from the first contact that we created, that we can't click the Start Chat button. However, with this contact, we can click the Start Chat button that opens up our chat to be able to chat with this individual. Welcome back. Now you can manage the attachments that you receive and send through Outlook. And you can do that here where you're going to see the attachment icon. If you click on that icon, what you're going to see here are you're going to see the attachments that you have received. And you'll see them in PDF form. You can also see your images. In order to filter or determine which images were sent, all you need to do is go to this Sent Images area. You'll be able to see any images that you sent through Outlook. You'll also be able to see any files that you sent through Outlook. You can also manage your tasks in Outlook. To do that, you're going to go to this area. That's going to open up your Task Manager. What you can do then is you can write in your tasks. You can then click Add. What you can do then is you can go back and you can edit this task. You can add in individual steps to the task. You can then choose to add this task to what you're managing on a particular day. You can then set a reminder for the task. You can also add a due date for the task. If the task is something that will be repeated, you can set it as a repeat task. And then if a file is necessary for you to use, you can add a file to that task. Now, typically you'll see your task opening into a new window. And when you're using Outlook.com, this will be an entirely separate view from your mail account, from your calendar, as well as your contacts. Okay, so with that.